I'm Marcus, DevRel at Edge and Node, and welcome to another episode of Graph Builders Office Hours. I'm here with Pranjal, who's actually calling in from Dubai, and he's going to be sharing with us about Hemi, learning about Hemi, the Hemi chain, and we're going to be having a good time with that today. Welcome to the chat. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going, Tino? How's it going, Emily? Welcome, welcome. Anyone filtering in, if you have questions, feel free to drop questions in the chat as we are going on. If you are actually streaming on Graph Devs, the chat is in the Graph Discord, so I'd recommend anyone who is watching on the Graph Discord anyone watching on Graph Devs on Twitter or on YouTube, come into the Graph Discord and hang out with us. We're having a good time. So with that all being said, Pranjal, how you doing? And welcome to Graph Builders Office Hours. How you doing?
Hey Marcus, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. And yeah, all good. Really good vibes in Dubai, leading up to Token 2049. Yeah, excited to be here chatting about Hemi.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here. The the token 2049, I wasn't able to make it this year, though I am happy that you are there and the push is happening from a lot of teams. How's it feeling so far for you? How's it feel being at that event right now?
Yeah, I think most of the events and networking events start from next week. The conference itself is over next weekend, but there have been like few private dinners, private parties leading up to the chaos and the madness of the coming week. So it's been good to sort of catch up with a few folks that I've previously known. So far so good, and I expect a lot more craziness and chaos to come in the next week. Unfortunately, last year was very last year was they were like floods in Dubai, so it was not so good for a lot of people. So I expect no hiccups this time at least.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least I hope for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last year I saw that we had a few team members from the Graph over during those floods, and just seeing that, I'm sure some people watching the stream are remembering that and seeing what that's like this year. Hopefully, we don't have
Yeah.
that this year because that was pretty crazy. That was absolutely crazy at that time. Let's get into it as people are coming into the stream. If you could just introduce yourself, Pranjal, and a little bit about your background before we get into Hemi and understanding this chain a little bit better. For the developers out there that don't know, Hemi is able to be indexed by the graph. So anything that Pranjal is talking about, if you need that data, we can get it into our subgraphs, and then our subgraphs can then populate your front end. So that out of the way, Pranjal, tell the chat a little bit about yourself and your background.
Absolutely. So I'm Pranjal, and I've done I've done developer relations for a good 3 to 4 years, I would say. Currently, my job title at Hemi is protocol relations, which is slightly different than developer relations that I've been doing. So there are some good things and some new things that I'm doing at Hemi. My role basically entails working in the BD side. We have DeFi as one of the biggest applications on Hemi. Uh, uh, by applications, I mean use cases. Um, but I'm focusing on beyond DeFi as well, more towards infra side of things, oracles, bridges, wallets, those sort of things. While also ensuring that protocols are able to deploy easily on top of Hemi, like all the tabs are able to easily deploy on Hemi, helping them through solutions architect kind of a thing. And yeah, previously I've done developer relations. I was working at Mantle before joining Hemi, and I started off as doing DevRel for Algorand Foundation as the lead for APAC. Yeah, that's a bit about my background.
Very cool. So, fellow DevRel, yeah, I've been in the DevRel role for about 4 years now. So, I like the title. What do you call it? The protocol relations, the chain. What?
Yeah, protocol relations.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. That feels appropriate. There's a few team members on our team that I can consider protocol relations for sure. Just interacting with different chains, different dApps all the time, and looking more at the underbelly, not the front facing stuff that I'm doing, but more of the behind the scenes relations that are super important and BD therein. So
Yeah,
uh, that's super
and
important for the
yeah,
industry.
if I were to, yeah, and if I were to like expand on that, we by definition call, for example, Hemi is a chain. You can say, other L2s or L1s. If you call them chains, then, any sort of lending market, we would call them lending protocols. We would call dexes or any other dApps like protocols. So, we had a very institutional approach to our chain as well. We thought that we should do something different, by not really targeting individual developers, rather onboard larger team sizes and protocols first, and then sort of leverage both of our communities to encourage end builders and users to adopt. So we haven't been doing a lot of like hackathon sponsorships and a lot of like end user workshops. Rather, onboarding established teams, established protocols first as part of our strategy. But yes, it's definitely going to come in Q3, Q4. A lot of those sort of hackathons and sort of like those sort of activations will are about to follow. So, yeah.
Very cool. And just real quick, how old is Hemi? Like, I want to understand a little bit more about Hemi myself and how it's at the end. I'm reading the copy you have here. It's powered by Bitcoin and Ethereum. I just kind of want to get a background really before we, dive into this and just understand this a little bit better. So, yeah, how old is Hemi
Yeah.
and how did you first get introduced to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hemi basically comes from a parent company called Block. They have built several different products. They've built, Metronome and various products like stablecoins and stuff. But Hemi is one of the chain which has come out of Block, and now is established as a different entity. But I believe some of my teammates who come from Block, they have been working on it for a little over 2 years since the genesis of the idea. So yeah, been in development for last 2.5 years. We launched on mainnet last year, around August or September, and then we went live on mainnet last month on 12th of March. Yeah, that's a bit about the genesis of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, if you can go into this, I mean, I know that we have developers watching, and this is, primarily our audience internally. We have subgraph, substream developers, and we also have people who are building Graph Node. We have people who are building a lot of the infra. So we have that community here. Just curious, for them and what you guys are doing. A little bit of,
Yeah.
let's dive in and kind of chat about Hemi and how it's unique among the L2s out there.
Yeah, absolutely. As you correctly pointed out, our tagline is that Hemi is one network, or you can say a super network, which is trying to power both from Bitcoin and Ethereum. We are trying to take these different silos. Often, you would see L2s just building with Ethereum or just building on Bitcoin. We are trying to take both these silos and sort of you can say like bring the king and queen of crypto, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum, and just make one unified chain. What I mean by that is we were successfully able to run a Bitcoin full node inside of the EVM chain. So
Say that again.
builders
I couldn't hear you.
so yeah, so basically we are running a Bitcoin full node inside of the EVM chain.
Okay.
So basically we are fully EVM compatible. Builders can deploy EVM dApps on top of us. We are using Optimism for the rollups. So if
And you're
anyone is
essentially
familiar with
taking
the
that
OP stack,
Bitcoin node and essentially copying it one to one in that EVM compatible environment.
yes, that is correct.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And as I said, we are based on Optimism's roller player. So if anyone is familiar with OP Stack, it's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty simple for anyone to deploy EVM dApps. And in the coming months, we will have smart contracts supported by the Bitcoin layer, so you will be able to fully index Bitcoin data, and yeah, build apps with the help of our Bitcoin toolkit. So that's in the roadmap, but there are a few features which are already supported, but yeah, a lot more to come.
Very
For
cool.
now, anyone who is familiar with EVM, they can deploy EVM compatible apps.
And with this node and it being a one-to-one, verifiability is a super important thing to make sure that that is essentially accurate in state. I'm sure you guys are confident in that. How do you guys manage and make sure that there's no questions for developers that copy basically the nodes are accurate,
Yeah, so basically, it is all powered by our unique consensus mechanism, which is called pop mining. I can go more into detail on that, in the next few minutes.
Yeah.
But if we look at the initial build and the design of Hemi virtual machine (HVM) as we call it, um, it has direct access to the smart contracts, which can communicate with the Bitcoin data. As I said, embedded in the EVM, directly enabling developers to make queries and receive data via calls, via precompiled calls. And anyone can index this full index Bitcoin node. It has transaction history, UTXOs. It will also have meta protocols like ordinals and BRC20 tokens. So yeah, all of this data is also fully indexable within the Bitcoin node. Yeah.
Within the and it's reflected in the EVM nodes. So when someone, let's say, pulls up a subgraph or a substream and points it at the smart contract that they would like to get, they're getting events coming to them or calls, depending on if they use subgraph substreams, and they'd be
Yeah.
able to see one to one what's going on in the Bitcoin world.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Very cool. Uh, you might get into this in the presentation, but I'm wondering, in terms of if you're building on this EVM compatible network, is that reflected back onto the Bitcoin network itself, or is it simply is your network just a read only for the Bitcoin network?
No, we do roll the data up to the Bitcoin layer as well. So I'm not too familiar with what we are using to push that data up to Bitcoin layer. But yes, eventually we are rolling up the data to
Cool.
the Bitcoin L1. Yes.
That's very cool. And that's part of
Yeah.
your SDK that people can use that toolkit
Yes.
and very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That connects all the wires in my brain in terms of this. That makes sense. I'm seeing a question in chat here. Knowing that BTC and ETH both have their pros and cons, especially BTC, are you using the best of both worlds? That's, of course, subjective. So, how do you feel the best of both worlds are potentially part of Hemi? Just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think whoever has asked the question has already sort of answered it as well. We are trying to use best of both worlds. As we know, L2s on Ethereum can be super scalable with the lowest of the transaction fees, and we can provide a very easy environment for anyone to deploy. So Ethereum definitely brings that for us. While traditionally we have seen the security of Bitcoin has been really good. So the security side of things, we are trying to, with the pop mining as well, we are trying to rely on that for security, essentially making us, a bit closer to the trilemmas, solving this trilemma, I would say. So
Do you
yeah,
feel like we're
I
getting
would
close
say
to that?
yeah, definitely. I think everyone is trying to make their dents into this triangle, and
Yeah.
at times there are trade-offs. I've
Yeah.
our chain, to be very specific, our chain has a block time of 10 seconds or 12 seconds, closer to that. We have had challenges with, for example, Pope Texas, because they would like a much faster block time, but
Yeah.
this is done by security. We do want to encourage encourage security by keeping this block time as of right now,
That makes sense.
just
That
to
makes
make sure
sense,
that,
especially
yeah.
because I mean, there's not a whole. I mean, not, let's be honest. There's so many chains out there. It's hard to keep track. But I'm trying to think of more than just a few that are looking at directly at this intersection, like you guys are. And so I think security is a good call at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that makes the most sense. The uh, so if you're at this point improving the security, and I would say improving the security, that's not going to be the like the this, you're not going to have those crazy you know crazy block times that a lot of these chains are coming out. You're more concerned with the of course the security. What are the other places that you guys are kind of are not kind of proud of, but definitely proud of, where you're saying, hey, we're making dents in the trilemma. Curious about that.
Yeah, I think in terms of decentralization, currently our sequencers are not decentralized, but we are making a move towards fully decentralized sequencers in the coming Q4. We are expected to do a node sale, which will essentially be an NFT for end users to purchase, and then they'll be able to run sequencers and take part in the Hemi network by running the sequencers for us. So this is a great opportunity for us to decentralize our sequencers and move a step towards decentralization as well. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Speaking from the graph's perspective, it's been 6, 7 year project, and there's constant, quarterly awareness of how decentralized are we? Are we heading in the right direction with decentralization? That is a slow push, but it's very much valuable. Where we, essentially are doing our very best to have as much of the protocol in the hands of the world, of any developers that want to get in there and help build on the network. And it's, it takes time. It takes time, and it's good not to
Yeah,
rush that one, because need to make sure that the excuse me the individuals feel enabled and confident in their toolkit.
absolutely. Agreed. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, very cool. So let's go through this presentation. I'm curious if there's anything here that really pops up that you think that developers in the graph ecosystem would be interested in.
Yeah, surely. So I think this particular presentation really sums up the four main components of Hemi chain. Firstly is tunnels.
Could you zoom in
Tunnels
on the
is
text? There might be someone watching on mobile here. I know it's there. You go.
sure.
Perfect. That's the best we can
Yeah,
do. Thank you.
absolutely. So, firstly is tunnels, which is basically one of the best ways people can bring their assets from Ethereum or Bitcoin chain onto Hemi network. So
Mm.
it's, you can say it's a bridge built by Hemi. Tunnel is one of the key components. Then there is consensus mechanism. I can talk more about that right after just I finish the components. But yes, this is one of the things that make us unique. There's the HVM, as I said, EVM with a full Bitcoin node wrapped inside of a EVM. And then there is the Bitcoin kit, the Hemi Bitcoin kit, where smart contract access is available to deploy on Bitcoin, and it will really help us bring a lot of new innovative DeFi applications onto our chain. Our goal is to be the go-to chain for anything related to BTC DeFi, and empower people to deploy different apps and best bring the best sort of yield opportunities, and bring the best sort of applications for retail, for all kinds of users to take their money in form of any sort of wrapped BTC, LHT, LRT, and play around with it in our ecosystem. So we are trying to do that with the help of Bitcoin Kit. Um, Maybe I can come back to the pop mining, and talk about some of the traditional approaches. For example, with the merged mining, as everyone likes to follow. So with merged mining, there are several problems. Like it requires active participation from the Bitcoin miners. The security side of it is limited by the percentage of miner participation. and the miners can actually attack the merged mine chain while they are still mining the Bitcoin normally. So it is more prone to attacks. If you were to take an example, uh, like if only 20% of the Bitcoin miners participate, you only receive 20% of Bitcoin security on your chain. While with the help of pop mining, there are several advantages. Uh, it inherits the Bitcoin security without requiring a miner participation. Bitcoin miners process Hemi data as a normal transaction, and they earn standard fees on it. Um, they run lightweight pop mining software, and they can also earn Hemi tokens, another incentive for them to be a pop miner. And then the finality side of things is that we achieve finality in 90 minutes versus Bitcoin 60 minutes, making it further and more secure. And we reach super finality where attacks would require compromising uh, both Bitcoin and Hemi, which makes it super secure. So attacker must attack Bitcoin itself to recognize to reorganize Hemi chain in any form. So that gives us, a power that if anyone wants to attack Hemi, they would have to also attack on Bitcoin chain, and gives us much more security in that way. And this is in comparison to what everyone used to follow, or everyone in the Bitcoin L2 space has followed traditionally by using the merged mining consensus mechanism. So that's a bit about pop mining. Maybe I can talk more about the the founders as well. So this was developed by Max Sanchez, who is our co-founder and lead architect. He was the one who invented pop mining. And another one of our co-founders is Jeff Garzik. He is known to be, he's known to be one of the earliest Bitcoin developers, Bitcoin core developers, to be very specific.
Now,
He has
do you
worked
have?
with,
I'm curious. Sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but curious about if there's any resources on this pop mining concept, because coming from Ethereum, I've been getting more familiar with Solana, getting more familiar with non-EVM chains. I'm sure there's people in the audience that want to learn more about this. So if you could share any links on that, that'd be great.
yeah, for sure. So you can, I can maybe share the link with you.
You could just drop it in
Um,
Telegram.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So we have a full detailed, uh, you know, information on this in our docs under the proof of proof mechanism under the architecture sector of it. So if anyone wants to read in detail, because it is very well detailed, anyone can go there and visit this. So yeah. Uh,
I see it
but
right
yeah, I
there.
was
I'll share this in the chat with everyone.
yeah,
Thank you.
that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Yeah. And yeah, I was talking about Jeff Garzik. I mean, he has worked with Satoshi himself while he was, experimenting with this idea and sending it out to multiple researchers and early developers. Jeff has worked directly with the early core contributors, and he has worked on this, from 2010. So, he's very well known in the space, and he's one of our co-founders, along with Max, as I said, who's the inventor of pop mining. So yeah, that's a bit about our team as well. If anyone's curious, um, and yeah, like maybe a bit about our investors. We have so far raised $15 million in seed funding. The round was led by Yeezy Labs, which was known as Binance Labs previously. Briar Capital, Big Brain Holdings, and many more. If anyone wants to see, they can go to our Twitter. I think we have an announcement. You'll be able to see all of our investors as well.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a bit about Hemi and this, the first slide.
Cool. Getting some questions in chat. What's the current standard of Hemi, polar, non-polar, EVM? I do just want to confirm. I think it's EVM, but just want to confirm that for the chat.
Yes, that is correct. We are fully EVM compatible.
Cool. Awesome. Fully EVM compatible. And this proof of proof and the pop mining. This is Bitcoin territory. Is this familiar in the
Yeah,
Bitcoin audience. It's not, of course, in the EVM world. I haven't heard of this. Unless it is, of course, there's new EVM stuff all the time. But this is primarily a Bitcoin way of interacting with their chain.
it is. It is. That is correct. Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
this is
That's some
the this is
more
for the
research
Bitcoin
for
folks.
me. Chad, has anyone here heard of proof of what was it
Proof
again?
of proof.
The proof of proof. Yeah, that's a new one for me. I personally have not seeing chat talking right now. Anyways, cool, awesome. So you got some Bitcoin OGs in there that have been developing for some time, and EVM. You're developing both at the same time. It's very interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, someone in chat, how's it going, Lewis? Wrote an article about hundreds of consensus, if ever, a year or so ago. So, interesting. HVM is 100% interesting. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's keep on going. Is there anything else that developers here you think would be taking a look at? I think educating anything on Bitcoin would be helpful for us because, such an EVM group.
Yeah, I think this like visiting our docs is definitely helpful.
Sure.
So this is the proof of proof documentation. If anyone's curious, they can learn more about this over here in the architecture, very well detailed. Going over the Ethereum rollups, decentralized rollups, and then consensus for the sequencers, and then I talked about tunnel as well. So there's a tunnel for both Ethereum side and the Bitcoin side. If I were to show this, I can probably pull up this. Yeah. This is the app.hemi.xyz, which basically has a bunch of functions over here. So first one, of course, is tunnel. You can basically connect your wallet and from Ethereum chain onto Hemi network. You can bridge your assets. And this can be done in ETH, USDC, or USDT, or any of the custom ERC20s. And then if you were to send over assets from the Bitcoin side, we support Unisat as one of the wallets. So you can do that by connecting with the Unisat wallet, and then bridge over some BTC into Hemi BTC. This is our wrapped version of the BTC.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So, the when you're talking
And
with
if
builders out there, and you're getting these
yeah,
builders going, it's a unique value proposition because essentially this ends up being a business model where you say, "Hey, you've been building on EVM, and now you have
yeah,
access to Bitcoin data, and you have access to both essentially, where you can have a smart contract that can be deployed on Hemi and can interact with the liquidity in there, and then can also interact with the liquidity in Bitcoin. Are you seeing that people and dApps building on Hemi are coming up with novel use cases due to this? Are there any use cases that you're aware of that you're seeing with the builders?
yeah. I think a lot more is yet to come. We are still working on some of the novel use cases which are under building, but from what I'm seeing as an early adoption is uh, protocols accepting and learning about new BTC LSTs and LRTs. I've seen some of the lending markets or some of the dexes or like any of the dApps in the DeFi sector, to be specific. They were, let's say, primarily on EVM, working with the EVM assets, but they were not open to this whole era of what's happening in the BTC LST LRT space. We have got like, just to name a few, maybe, if I were to just go on to staking platform, we have a staking campaign, and it supports like bunch of different assets. And you can see BRBTC by Bedrock, there's EGETH by EigenPy, there's Enzo BTC, there's Hemi BTC, there's IBTC, MBTC, OBTC. Like, so many of these LST LRTs are now being accepted by some of the really big protocols out there, which are supported on Hemi. um, And by this they are also getting opened up to a world of new liquidity. People who are holding native bitcoins, who are like big in Asia, big in the US markets, they are getting the opportunity to use some of these dApps, and enter DeFi with some of these wrapped Bitcoin assets. So I think it's a really good place to start. And yeah, like as you can see, like all of these are supported by Hemi. So this is a really good way to sort of like look at what different sort of Bitcoin LSTs, LRTs are in the market, and like a lot of EVM people, I'm pretty sure like they might not be aware about these things. So definitely, it just opens up a whole new gate of liquidity for them, and liquidity inflows.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is a new concept for me, and so in terms of that intersection, having access to more liquidity can't be a bad thing in terms of being a builder. And it sounds like that's the primary value proposition that you have anyone out there for who's building. You're looking for not just EVM liquidity, but Bitcoin liquidity to be pushed and to be
Yeah.
incentivized mechanisms into your dApp. That sounds pretty damn cool. I am a lover of Bitcoin, lover of a lot of EVM chains and their tokens, as well as native Ethereum. I think this is an interesting push where you guys are at a good time, especially with all this regulation that's occurring right now. Yes, good, yes, bad. I feel you guys are, you've been probably at the edge of your seat this last year, potentially, looking at all the different standards coming and going. So that must have been an interesting time for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, maybe I can talk more about the ecosystem as well. We are trying to grow by bringing some of these EVM only dApps into and giving them exposure to the Bitcoin side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, like the markets will go up and down, but the building should never stop. And we have seen some of the top dApps, the top lending markets, or top spot dexes and stuff. Um, uh, try and be open to new opportunities by welcoming not just Hemi, like a bunch of Bitcoin layer twos, and I think that's a great move and like a step in the right direction. Yeah, and while I have this, maybe I can just talk more about this. So we are trying to grow our ecosystem in all different directions, but DeFi being the biggest use case, we are trying to work with top dApps in the ecosystem. I believe we have got closer to about 40 to 45 dApps already supported and live on Hemi. A lot more to come, especially in the side of perp dexes, and yield aggregators, vaults, and those sort of opportunities for retail to earn yields on their native assets. And we have got few lending markets, but yeah, a lot more to come as well for people to participate in DeFi. Participate into those looping strategies through PT tokens, and those sort of things. But yeah, on the infra side, if I were to talk about it, of course, Graph has been a great partner. On the Oracle side, we are supported by some of the really good partners. Beth, Redstone, eOracle, Stork. If anyone wants to utilize their feeds, they are live on Hemi as well. And yeah, this is the LSD LRD section that I was talking about. A bunch of partners of us who have these Bitcoin wrapped LSD LRDs. They are working with us, and then we have got restaking protocols as well, working with Sattler and Bell and Symbiotic. So yeah, this is like a comprehensive list of our ecosystem. If anyone
Very
wants
cool.
to learn more
Very
about it, they can go to hemi.xyz, and then they can
yeah.
have a look at the ecosystem
Yeah.
as well. Yeah,
There's a question in chat
sure.
about the developer-centric groups that you guys have. Or you guys have a Telegram chat that people could jump into, or a Discord? Where do developers hop in when they want to chat with you guys?
Yeah, so we don't have a Telegram chat, but we have a very open and very interactive Discord community. So
Awesome.
if anyone wants to join us, they can hop onto our Discord. It's much more engaging. If you have
Yeah.
any questions, feel free to open a ticket. I'll be there to answer it, or some other community moderator will be
Yeah.
happily there to answer it. So yeah, just
Let
visit
me let me
hemi.xyz.
just
You'll be able to
yeah. If
find
you could,
us in the
there it
community
is.
section.
Okay, Hemi, X, Y, and Z, and links. Yeah, people are asking for those links in chat, by the way. Community, Discord. I see it. Perfect.
Sure, maybe I can send it to you as well.
Yeah. Bam, bam, sharing, bam. Okay, Hemi is in there. And yes, thank you for sending the links. Perfect. And there. Awesome, man. Well, I'm curious about you guys because this is a exciting time for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and to be at that intersection, I'm sure you guys are getting a unique perspective that someone primarily from the EVM community, here, and a lot of the graph ecosystem is a lot of EVM, and we do support, of course, Solana, and we do a lot of work there too. But got a chat question: what's a Bitcoin?
Yeah.
From someone who I know who knows what a Bitcoin is. Yes, so it's interesting intersection that you're in right now, and it's very cool. I wish you guys the best of luck. The next few years are going to be good for the graphs integration and subgraphs, and making sure that developers who are building on Hemi know essentially about the graph and how they can get their data from Hemi. I'm happy to, of course, help out here. We've got a bunch of devs here that are building all the time, and just making sure the builders that are building on Hemi know that they get their data from the graph and can build with that. And that's something that I want to keep on your guys' radar as this growth occurs, which I think you guys have great timing, and we all know that in startup world, timing is very important. So you guys are doing great.
Yeah, and some of our partners and partner protocols are also using your subgraph. So it's been incredibly easy for them to work with you. And yeah, you definitely are one of the best infra providers for us. So yeah, been very easy, and yeah, taken a lot of load from us to answer or work on the data side of things.
Exactly. You guys work on the chain, and we'll work on getting the data from it. So, very cool. Well, is there anything else to go over, you think, for developers, or you think this is a good place to
Absolutely, yeah.
wind it down? You think? I feel like this is a good place to wind it down. I'm seeing the end of your slides here, and
I can maybe
oh, what's next? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, like
Yeah.
some of the I hope you're able to hear me fine. Yeah,
It's
there's
coming in and
no
out
network
occasionally, but
problem or
overall,
anything
it's
like
pretty
that.
good.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can just talk about what could be the possible use cases in future, and what we see as some
Sure.
of the really good use cases for builders to look at. So if you look at the Bitcoin native unique applications, there are a few. Some of them highlighted in this as well, and maybe I can just talk about them one by one. Firstly, let's say if you talk about any sort of trustless Bitcoin restaking protocol, where users stake their native or tunnel Bitcoin into uh, uh, users can stake their native Bitcoin or like tunnel Bitcoin and create a collateralized validator market for other protocols. It is very similar to what EigenLayer has, but it will be a Bitcoin-based expression of EigenLayer's concept. I think that will be pretty cool, very very cool to sort of see. Bitcoin MEV marketplaces can be a really good application where users can pay Bitcoin miners in Hemi or any other Ethereum asset to process Bitcoin transactions and request for specific transaction placement just to extract value from like meta protocols or like maybe guarantee priority in the BRC20 minting process and stuff like that. So, like MEV marketplace for a Bitcoin could be very unique. Then we can also look at like escrow services. If there's a collateralized escrow agent which just participates in this in the secure movement of Bitcoin-based assets between different parties. Very useful for lending and borrowing and creating a financial construct with the help of the native Bitcoin. I think that will be pretty cool as well. And then I think something I would like to see is smart Bitcoin wallets. There could be a smart contract controlled Bitcoin wallet, which is managing and is able to handle native BTC ordinals and BRC20 assets, and it's been able to configure with the help of smart contracts. I think that'll be pretty cool. If you talk about like not just Bitcoin native but maybe cross chain applications, it will be cool to see users like some sort of an exchange for ordinals and BRC20s. Users trade Ethereum and Hemi and Bitcoin native or any sort of tunneled asset into a one single integrated marketplace. That would be pretty cool. An idea of a multi-chain DAO would be very interesting, where there could be DAOs which can operate across Bitcoin and Ethereum network, and just basically encouraging decision making for stakeholders, and sort of have a collective view and collective opinion of stakeholders from both the communities. And yeah, I think these could be like some really good ideas just for the Bitcoin native silo, and some really cross chain ideas. Um, and yeah, I think Hemi being a super network supporting both Bitcoin and Ethereum, we should be able to support these ideas and nurture developers, and have builders welcome and build on Hemi.
Very cool. Yeah, the ideas are there, everyone. If you're building, these are some you guys have put in the work in terms of for builders to think differently. And I was, like, okay, where do we go with this? And you guys have. I like the Bitcoin Ethereum auditability. I like that. I think that's really good. The dual chain asset ecosystem. I mean, this is cool. This is new opportunities as builders are building. So very exciting. Very
Yeah.
exciting. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Seeing a question in chat. Let's go to it here. Uh, Talking about DeFi and staking, do you know if it's possible to non-value lock stake within Hemi? Thinking yes, knowing it's using standards allowing it. Maybe I'm not. And then project ideas. How about both top-chain liquid-backed NFTs? Maybe a little technical. No need to ask this, he says. Okay. So, DeFi and staking, I think that's the question here. Do you know if it's possible to non-value lock stake within Hemi?
No, that is not possible at this moment. We are big on minting MEBTC exactly one to one with the native Bitcoin. So I don't think it's possible at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Uh, cool. Awesome. Awesome, Pranjal. Very cool. Uh, well, I just want to thank you and thank you for your time. And I wish you the very best of luck at Token 2049. The energy, I'm sure, is quite high as it is at all these events. So I wish you the very best in that. And
Yeah.
also for your entire team, this is a cool push, and I think your timing is very good. So, with that being said, I'll give you the last word with this. If there's anything else you want to tell developers in this ecosystem before we sign off, how's that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will be at Token 2049. If anyone's in town, feel free to reach out to me. And if anyone wants to learn more about Hemi, just go to hemi.xyz. You will be able to find resources, docs, blogs, just detailing more on pop mining, more on our architecture and those sort of things. If you still have any questions, hop into our Discord, create a ticket, ask your questions. Always happy to help and grow the community. And yeah, as I said, I will be here. So if anyone wants to connect with me, you can look me up on Twitter. You'll be able to find me. And yeah, let's connect.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Pranjal is on Twitter. It's OX, 0x Pranjal, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
That's it. 0x Pranjal. Go ahead and find him on Twitter. if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you so much, Pranjal, for popping in here for a little bit. I'm excited for this new layer, this new concept that is out there right now, and I'm sure you guys are going to be doing great these next few years. So, everyone in Discord, everyone's watching on Graph Devs, thank you for streaming in. I've been Marcus, DevRel at Edge and Node. Pranjal, thank you for coming, and everyone have a good rest of your day. Pranjal, if you could actually keep this tab open as I close the stream, that's going to help us. All right.
Awesome, no worries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep the tab open. I'm gonna close the stream. Everyone, take care.